Oh, my sweet, sweet Lord. Geez, what a comprehensive win for Kolkata. Nothing going for them. They were below Mumbai in the points table. They definitely were, it was against them when you talk about the head to head historically, 22-6. But even with all of that, they just have managed to dominate this game. And geez, what a game they have played. 155 is what Mumbai scored. They were put into bat by Ewan Morgan, and Kolkata has got to it with almost 5 overs to spare. Complete mayhem. Shubman Gill, 13 of 9, but the story was Iyer and Tripathi. This fantastic partnership with the two of them. Iyer with the big hits, 53 of 30, and Rahul Tripathi was just sublime today. 74 not out of 42 deliveries for Mumbai. Well, it may look like Jasprit Bumrah got those 3 wickets, but there was only one really peach of a delivery, which was to Shubman Gill. Otherwise, it really was Kolkata just all over this game. Hello and welcome. You're watching Cricbuzz Live in association with our fantasy partner, My 11 Circle. I'm Gaurav Kapur. With me, Joy Bhattacharya, and a cushion masquerading as Simon Doull. This housekeeping in this hotel is just absolutely bizarre. Yeah, thank God he's removed that. And
sorry.
And that. Were you simulating what the Kolkata batting did to the Mumbai bowling?
Just throwing it everywhere. Just throwing
put
it
like
everywhere.
Cushions. Just like suffocate them. Just put cushions on them.
Brilliant, wasn't it?
I was going for more morbid. You go for the sweeter version. But it was morbid.
Get out of here.
What Kolkata has done to Mumbai today, this is some morbid stuff.
When you strike, your top 3, 144 strike rate. Even though Shubman Gill only got 13, he's striking at 144, 176 and 176.19. For Venkatesh Iyer and Rahul Tripathi. So that's what happens when you have that freedom and you have that ability, which they've all got, and you play with that freedom without fear. That's the sort of thing you can do. And they have put Mumbai to the sword. 29 deliveries to spare. And, we know, Joy, Gaurav, we know that this tournament will come down to run rate. We know. Don't even kid yourself and think that it will not. So this, Joy, how this helps their run rate no end, yeah?
Yeah, it's gone from 0.1 to 0.35 positive. So it's a big booster shot to their net run rate. And if anybody needs this, if anybody's had trauma of not qualifying, falling into 5th place because of net run rate, it's this team.
Yeah, they're used to it. They've had all these problems in the past. They've not qualified, have been in sort of joint 7th with 7 wins and not qualified. And run rate this time, they just want to be sure they get it. And I just love the way the young guys played. And what I love about it is this is such a forum where you get proven wrong all the time. Yeah. So Kolkata, we were looking at their tactic and saying that, they're playing spin and pace at the end and, Mumbai is going to massacre them. It didn't happen. Then I said that, these 3 top players, they're inexperienced. They have nothing, you need more experienced players. The top 3, the young guys delivered. They're not so young, Rahul Tripathi, but they are relatively inexperienced players. But how well they played and fantastically.
Yeah, Tripathi's 30 actually. He's been playing for a while and he actually played for the Pune franchise. Remember Stephen Fleming speaking about him. He did really well when he was in that Pune franchise when MS Dhoni was there, which was, I think, about 5 years back, 6 years back.
2016.
Yeah, so 5 years back.
17.
Today, Simon, there was something, and we were talking about this in the com box as well. There was something sublime about his batting today. The gaps he was finding, the shots he was hitting. Yes, Iyer was destructive. Tripathi was almost like a surgeon with a scalpel.
Yeah, look, he's an aggressive player. I always felt that, I don't have the numbers, but I get a feeling with Rahul Tripathi that his best form has generally come at the top of the order, opening the batting. He's getting an opportunity at 3 now. So at times you'll find yourself in there quite early anyway. So it's similar. At times you might find himself after a reasonable partnership of 35, 40, 50, which happened today. So he has got all the shots. He's really good against spin. I like the fact that he's just aggressive. As soon as the spinners come on, he's prepared to run down the wicket and hit the spinners over the top, which is something else you need inside that power play. And again, I keep just saying about it though, or talking about it. Yep. Slightly less experience with Gill and with Iyer at the top, but you've got a guy in Venkatesh Iyer who is in a very good life situation, and I think that makes a big difference when you come into a game situation when your life is in order. He doesn't need cricket. Cricket's a passion, a love. There's so many young Indian players that cricket is their way out of life, out of a tough life and into a little bit of money and into a little bit of sort of freedom and into a better lifestyle for them and their parents and their whole family. This young man's pretty much got it sorted. He's as bright as a button. He's got a job at Deloitte. He's got a career outside of cricket, so he's playing it for the love of it. And that's something I love to see as well. And Tripathi at 30, if he can't be playing for the love of it, there's something wrong. So it's just what, and I keep saying it. This is what Brendan McCullum wanted in the first half of the season. He didn't get it. He has a saying, and Joy will know it, and you'll know it. I think we talked about it last year. And it's a very simple saying that Brendan McCullum has. If you can't change the man, change the man.
Nice.
And that's it. That's all he says. If you can't change the man, change the man.
It's goosebumps.
You get a few opportunities to change your way, or you're gone, and someone else comes in.
I just want to pick up on one other thing. Just notice, this is very interesting because it tells you a little bit about how Kolkata chooses their players. 3 of their 11 players are not through the traditional cricket route. Rahul Tripathi was in the army, again, educated guy, did a whole lot of things, and then came back into cricket. Venkatesh Iyer, exactly the same. Deloitte, does a lot of things. Varun Chakravarti, he's an architect. He's an architect who decides to play cricket. So 3 guys of your playing 11 have made it from routes which are not traditional cricket routes, under 17, under 19, made it, captaincy, played for India, did this, did that. These are 3 very unconventional players. And look, today, all of them have come off today. And it may not happen all the time. But it's interesting that Kolkata is almost deliberately looking for players who don't sort of fit into the normal mold as well. And it's worked out for them superbly today.
The Kolkata Moonlighters, yeah? Look at them. Look at these guys.
That means something else where I come from.
What does it mean? Yeah. Moonlighters means somebody who's got another job, right? He's moonlighting.
We'll let people. Yeah, well, you can. If you're moonlighting, you can be doing something else as well.
Oh, Dooley, are you trying to dirty your pond over here?
No,
dirty your pond with your non-vegetarian thoughts. This is a vegan philosophy show, yes? Only clean.
Sorry.
I got to tell you,
though, this
might just give my age away a bit, but that's fine. You both are older than me. There was a show called Moonlighting with Bruce Willis in it and Sybil Shepherd. Way back, and it was about a guy who moonlights as a detective. So, which is why it's the guys
that's
who
what
are
you were talking about. No, that's fine.
That's exactly what I was talking about. Jesus, very scary here. Very scary. Very scary for Mumbai as well because they've slipped down to they've slipped down to places where they're not used to being. Right. This is 6th position now for them. They played 9 games and now they have lost more than they have won. The net run rate's not looking good. And Kolkata's leapfrogged over them and into the top 4 now. And remember, till 5 days ago, it was looking like this team will be nowhere here. They have played 2 games, not just 2 games. They've played 2 absolutely solid, dominating games. And Joy, it's not just the wins, right? It's the way they have won these games that'll have the top 3 teams now kind of looking over their shoulder and watching for purple in their rearview mirror.
Absolutely. Kolkata is a team in form. It's looking like a team with intent. Most importantly, exactly in 2014, exactly the same thing happened. They were 2-5, won 9 in a row and won the tournament. So somewhere there, they have some sort of history, some sort of momentum. Their Indian players are going. Look, they wouldn't have been so excited if Morgan and Russell won this match. They are excited because the guys that they didn't expect to perform, they're 1, 2, 3, where everyone says that they're relatively inexperienced. Those guys are delivering for them. That's really important because that means that if these guys deliver, you can bet your life that Morgan, Russell, Dinesh Karthik, they're experienced enough. Sooner or later, 5 matches, they'll give you 2 good innings, definitely. But if these guys give you something, that means a hell of a difference.
There's 2 things we love here on Cricbuzz Live. One, we love it when a plan comes together. That's the A team, though. But anyway, we also love it when, we love it when we don't understand it outside and we don't mind calling it like that. Like, for example, pushing Morgan, Russell, Karthik and saying, well, you've got 4 inexperienced Indian, less experienced Indian batsmen now at the top. You had 3 first, now you're making it 4. And I think just roundabout, we've just questioned it and saying, I don't know if that is right or not. It's really come together in this match. I know it's just the one game because the first game was literally won for them by their bowlers, because that's what happens when you restrict Bangalore to 92. But if this can be a good template for them, right, Simon, it'll be fantastic, because it sounded completely counterintuitive, which just shows that, inside they knew what they were doing, didn't care about the noise outside, and that's when it becomes even sweeter success.
Yeah, well, they've dominated this game for 25 overs, haven't they? They were behind the 8 ball after 10, and then they dominated for the back 10 with the ball, and then 15 with the bat. So they've dominated this game for 25 overs. And, when I look at the bowling side of things as well, I think that has to be given quite a lot of credit too. The second half, Prashid Krishna, just that one over that went for 18, but he picked up 3 vital wickets. Lockie Ferguson was outstanding. The spinners bowled 9 overs for 47. I think we said Chakravarti, Narayan, and the 1 over from Nitish Rana. So it's a complete performance, a complete package. And what they've asked Andre Russell, and why they sent Andre Russell to America for 6 weeks for rehabilitation with the Dallas Cowboys training program, and to sort that knee out, to strengthen him up, to make sure that he was going to be 100% ready and raring to go and able to bowl. And that allows them to deepen that batting lineup, and it gives them that genuine 6th bowling option as well. And so, quality spinners, 3 seamers, and Nitish Rana, if required. And so they can get through with that. And it just makes this side. And I know, let's say Pat Cummins was here, Ferguson might not play. And that's probably the only change that they might make. And they might not even want to make that now. But I always thought, and I think we talked about this way back in April, they have a very strong 11, maybe 12. When it gets to 14, 15, 16, we were worried about Kolkata. We were worried about injuries. But they have a very, very strong 11, 12 players. And that's what they're showing now.
And that's what they need. Well, let's have a look at what the Mumbai bowlers did. Let's have a quick look at that, because what Rohit did was exactly the opposite. Started with the pace, was just attacking them with pace. And we spoke about this in the mid-game show as well, is that, Rohit's going to attack the 2 young openers, Shubman Gill and Venkatesh Iyer. And the best way for them to defend is to attack back. And that's what they did. And Joy Iyer and Gill won that battle.
They won that battle up front. They won that battle against even Rahul Chahar, who's probably being their most consistent bowler. 3 overs for 34 is not something Rahul Chahar is used to. Kunal Pandya has been a weakling. Even Bumrah's got his 3 wickets, but they've cost him 43 runs. So somewhere it hasn't worked for them. 2 things. One is Mumbai still look as if they're sleepwalking through the second stage of the tournament. They still don't look as if somebody hasn't woken them up. And well, if they don't wake up today, I'll be very, very surprised, because it's going to be quite a shock to them. But the second thing is that, the way this match happened, there were at least 7 to 8 balls that didn't go to hand. Half chances, just crossed the ropes. So look, all the luck went this way to Kolkata today. All the luck, all the 50-50 chances went Kolkata's way. They tried a shot, the ball went up, it landed in no man's land. That's not going to happen every day. That's not going to happen every day. That doesn't take away from the fact that they took their chances and they took advantage of their chances. But all we can say is that this is not as bad a Mumbai side as it looked today. And this is not as dominant a Kolkata side as this looks today. There's going to be some sort of a balance.
There's a great point you make about luck. Even with Rahul Tripathi, I think there was one shot stepped way outside off. I think he was trying to paddle it. It takes a top edge. It goes for 6 over third man. Those are the kind of things that won't happen for you every day. But the important thing, Simon, is that the day the luck is going your way, you make the opposition pay. And that's what they've done today.
Yeah, make it count. Make it count. We saw a couple go over, or one in particular, I can remember a very high one on the bat go over the head of Saurabh Tiwari, and landed inside the boundary. Anyone else, might have had a chance of taking that catch. There's, as Joy said, there was a lot of little things, but you ride your own luck and you create your own luck. by being overly aggressive, and you put the opposition under pressure. And that's exactly what Kolkata did today. Mumbai seemed desperate for me to get a Hardik Pandya type, that player back. Bolt's been brilliant. I mean, look, he's had a night where someone's just got a hold of him, but he's been brilliant through the tournament for them. He's been brilliant in the last 2 years. So you're going to have those occasions where a batsman will pick up, and it was, that shot, I still go back to it, probably one of the best shots of the tournament so far. Shubman Gill over mid-wicket. Just a little shimmy down the wicket.
Second ball,
amazing timing. And so these things will happen. You can't. It's not a side you can write off. Now, both these sides now, if they want to get to 14 points, which is a minimum with a really good run rate, they need 3 from 5. Both these teams need 3 from 5 now.
The thing we know with Mumbai is that Mumbai are poor starters. Now they've proven they're poor restarters as well. And this time, this is the first time that's happened, and they're showing it this time, because these two games you're right, they have looked like they're sleepwalking. And it's an interesting point you make right now. My Cricbuzz app open. I'm just going to really quick look at the points table, because there's the interesting point. You say that they need to get to 14 points, but what KKR has done now is that they have more than half a point of a difference between them and MI. So MI actually needs to get one more win than Kolkata, because tying at points will not, just like if you tie with Chennai, it doesn't matter because they will go ahead on net run rate. Kolkata is slowly putting themselves into that position where if there's a mid-table muddle, and that's the thing, right? They've had the wrong side of the mid-table muddle a few times. I don't think it's going to happen again.
No, they're well and truly in front of Bangalore. They're well and truly in front of everyone on that table except for the Delhi side. So it's and Chennai. So to me, that's a key. So they can get to 14 points, providing. But again, though, we've seen Kolkata at times. They are capable of having a bad loss. They're capable of being bowled out for a Bangalore score.
They're a bit like Bangalore that way.
That's the issue. They want to avoid those situations. And who have they got next? They've got Chennai next, I think, haven't they? Still in Abu Dhabi, I think, is their next game. So they play the tough 4 teams up front. I think then they have Delhi.
Yeah.
So they got the 4. Right. They got 4 tough ones up front. If they can win 3 of those 4, goodness me, you have to be backing them to make it through.
Yeah, because those were the top 4 teams as we went into the second installment of this. And Joy will tell you how difficult that is in terms of mathematical probability, because usually when a team has and Kolkata still, like we're talking them up right now, they're 4 wins and 5 losses, right? So their losses are more than their wins. It's very difficult to have a positive net run rate when that happens, isn't it, Joy? That means your wins have to be big, solid wins.
Yeah. They've had bad losses, as in losses which were close losses, and big wins. That's what made it. And also really intent. If you see the last match, 92, they could have dawdled, they could have got it, easily, with far more comfortably, but they went for the runs. So I think that's one thing. They have their eye on the ball. They have their eye on that, run rate. And here again, I want to take up the point that you were speaking about before this, Simon. Nathan Lehman, he's the guy who's the analytics guy of the England team. And he's the guy who's putting these signals up. He's a mathematics graduate from Cambridge. He's considered a whiz on calculating cricket odds. And what he's doing is saying, okay, this is the match situation. That's a code that's between just him and Morgan. And he says sometimes Morgan doesn't even look at it. But I put it up there to tell him this is what the match situation is. Very interesting thing is, they also play on probabilities, and he says that Morgan is one of the most intelligent captains that I've ever worked with, and Morgan is also a poker player. So they both understand odds and probabilities very, very well. So I find it fascinating what they're trying to do out there, and it's going to revolutionize cricket if it comes off. And somebody actually turned around and asked him that you're doing this, isn't this illegal? He said, look, all the time guys walk around the field and give instructions to the long on field or the long off field and tell them how is this any different? And he's right.
Well, I'll tell you that
I like it.
In 2008, also this question was asked to a Lehman brother, what you're doing may just be illegal. So just...
Well played, well played.
If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, watch The Big Short. It's an Adam McKay film. All of you. The Big Shot is
The Big
amazing.
Short. I was just going to say that you're going about movies. I mean, what they're talking about there is Moneyball, basically, isn't it? I mean, you're talking about selecting a team on Moneyball. You're talking about playing a game with probability. All of these things. I mean, Moneyball's another great movie. If you haven't seen it, I'd encourage you to watch it. Just around the numbers rather than the player.
Yep, absolutely.
And I just want to tell you, Big Shot and Moneyball were written by the same guy.
Aaron Sorkin. No, wait. The books, right? Yeah, the books. Yeah, the books. Yeah, because I thought you were talking about the screenplay, because I thought one was Adam McKay, one was Adam Sorkin, but yeah, Michael Lewis is who you're talking about. Well, lots of big shots played today by the young men of Kolkata. Yes. And that means one final look before we round up today's discussion and start talking about tomorrow's game, because the weekend is upon us. We're going to have 5 big games over the next 3 days, and just show you the points table, because this will also set it up for you real nice. You see Delhi, which is at the top. You have Chennai, which is sitting in number 2 position. Chennai tomorrow has a chance to jump right on top. Remember, when they tie on points, they will always go ahead. Remember these words. This is going to be very important as you go ahead. With Kolkata and with Chennai, you don't want to be tying with them on points, because they have got the better of you. NRR, very, very important right there. So we look at the game tomorrow. We have, we call this it's called the South Derby, isn't it? Yeah, we call this the South Derby. It's Virat Kohli and MS Dhoni. It's Bangalore playing Chennai. Yes, they have 10 other people with them as well, each of them. So that's happening in Sharjah, the small ground. I don't know if it's going to play exactly the same, because the way it played last year when the tournament began, it felt like they were playing on a postage stamp and everything was being deposited on the highway outside, wasn't it, Simon?
Well, it was one of the great spots to be, wasn't it? If you were over by the chemist shop or the bakery, you were having brand new kookaburras. You didn't need cookies or paracetamol. You had brand new kookaburras.
And they're expensive. They aren't they're not cheap.
$100 a ball.
Wow. Jeez. That's a good day.
And it was causing traffic jams and chaos and all sorts of things. But we saw double hundreds, didn't we? We saw 200 scored. We saw 200 being chased down. And then only a matter of 4 weeks later, we saw sides getting 150 and winning. So that was the sort of the huge disparity between the start of the tournament and the end of the tournament in Sharjah. I'm guessing we haven't seen a lot of cricket. When I looked at the surface at Abu Dhabi and at Dubai Stadium, there were beautiful grass surfaces. We haven't seen a lot of cricket in the area of late. I'm imagining that Sharjah will just be an absolute belter. It'll be a belter of a pitch, and it'll possibly be okay, because there's only, what have we got, 8 games there? I think we've got 8 games in Sharjah this time round. So it's not going to wear anywhere near as much. So I imagine it might be pretty good all the way through.
Yeah. So, Joy, what do you want to do then? I mean, when you know that this is a 220, 225, possibly 200 par pitch, you definitely then want to chase. Do you want to bat first? What do you want to do?
Look, I genuinely believe early in the tournament, and remember, most teams are going to these two teams are going to play just their second games. I still believe early in the tournament, it's better to bat first and set substantial totals, because 220 on the board is still 220 on the board. I could be wrong, but it still makes a difference having runs on board right now, because teams still don't, their combinations are not settled. They're not used to chasing so much. Kolkata has chased very successfully. That's not to mean that chases are always successful. I still think early on when you're trying to make your combinations right, batting first is better. But I mean, Sharjah is such a belter that, Simon could disagree completely.
Yeah, I'm normally a fan of runs on the board in most situations. I know that captains favour on small grounds, they favour chasing. Big grounds, they can be quite comfortable in setting a target, and then if you can just push that run rate up a little bit, the spinners really come into play on the bigger grounds.
Yeah,
I just think on the smaller grounds they do prefer, and both these guys I think probably will prefer to chase tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night. It'll be I'll be there. It'll be interesting to see how it does play, but I just get a feeling that both these captains will feel like they want to chase first up in Sharjah because of the smallish nature of the ground.
Yeah, it plays more into Bangalore's hands, really, like their home ground, not like Dhoni's home ground of Chepauk. So definitely plays into their hands. So they like that score. Let's have a look at the Bangalore squad there. Are you? I know they were skittled for 92. Do you go around making a heap of changes? And Simon, the reason I ask you is because you know Mike Hesson, you know how he operates. He's not one of those make a heap of changes kind of guy. But he's got a captain who likes rotating the squad.
Yeah, look, I wonder whether they go with a spinner less, whether they look at taking Hasaranga out. Maybe the teams did tend to go with a spinner less in Sharjah because they felt that the seamers could basically control it just a little bit more. So that's probably an option. It might be the one option that they look at is take a spinner out and play an extra seamer or an extra all-rounder.
Yeah, I'm looking at Dan Christian.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Dan Christian. On a ground like this, this is the kind of surface he's
coming
used
in
to,
for Hasaranga, right? Coming in for Hasaranga.
Yeah, Dan Christian for Hasaranga, and he gives you something with the ball as well. I would look very seriously at Dan Christian.
Yeah, because you're not changing A.B. de Villiers, you're not changing Glenn Maxwell, you're not changing Kyle Jameson, right?
No.
So you've only got one guy to play with.
Yeah, exactly. Look, I mean, Jameson would be one that I'd look at some stage in the tournament. I'd give big, gorgeous George Garton a crack at some stage, or Dushmantha Chimera as well, who are both very good bowlers. And I still believe that Kyle Jameson has got work to do at the T20 level. And both Garton and Chimera probably deserve an opportunity at some stage.
Hey, they didn't play Navdeep Saini. Jeez, you're right. They didn't play Navdeep Saini. Navdeep Saini suddenly gone from India shoo-in to not even making the Bangalore team. That's interesting. Jeez.
Well, they could strengthen their batting a little bit that way, couldn't they? If they wanted to take Jameson out, bring David in, bring Saini in. There's plenty of options there.
Yeah, they've also got, they played Sachin Baby last time, though they played, in the previous game, they played Rajat Patidar when, the tournament had happened earlier. So you could probably see perhaps one change there for sure, for conditions, maybe even two. On the other side, you have a team where you're going to say, zero changes, zero. How many changes is Dhoni going to make? Zero? Is he going to make zero changes? What do you guys think? Zero?
Look, he's not going to bring Tahir in on this pitch to replace. He's playing with two international fast bowlers. I can't see him replacing Tahir. If you don't bring Tahir in, I don't know who else, because Moeen Ali has done his job. Dwayne Bravo has actually proven that he's up to it. People were talking whether he can bowl or not.
Bravo won it for them last time. Bravo won them.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So I can't see who they're going to change.
But
if you're not going to change,
because Sam Curran was in quarantine,
Curran's
right?
Available. Is Curran available? I don't think he's out of quarantine. I'm not sure. That would be the change that you'd make. I mean, for a Hazelwood.
Oh, 1 second. You're saying Sam Curran for Hazelwood?
Yeah, something like that. I wouldn't bring him in for Bravo. I think they seem to prefer to go with the all-rounders.
That means you know what that means. That means that Thakur and Chahar are batting at 10 and 11.
Yeah, exactly. So the bat deep. Beware.
No, that's Dhoni's perfect situation. 11 batsmen, 7 bowlers, lots of cards to play with. Okay. Yeah. Exactly. Discard, then it's called, rummy table decision making. Okay, discard this bowler, pick up this bowler. Okay, use this 2 overs for him. Okay, no, this one doesn't work. Pick up the next guy. Yeah. And he does this brilliantly. I mean, he always knows which cards to pick up and which to discard during a match.
Yeah, but I'm still thinking. Simon, come on. One for the fast bowlers. Yeah, he's going to drop You think he's going to drop Hazelwood at 145 and take in Sam Curran?
Well, really? I know he loves Sam Curran. I know they all love Sam Curran. They just think he's a match winner. They think he's a genuine match winner. And, he can win you a game with the bat with 30 off 10. He can win you a game with the ball. He bowls those cutters. He gives you that left arm option, which they don't have. There's a lot of upside to Sam Curran as a cricketer and into that side. And I just, it's an option. The way Bravo played the other day, this is not a long tournament. These guys have all come into this tournament. I mean, Bravo, I know, had an injury in the Caribbean League, but the rest of them are not having to get through 14 games. This is not the aging Chennai side that has to get through 14 games. They have to get through 6 games. Yeah. So they're not having to worry about it as much. So it's, I mean, will it happen if he's out of? We're talking like he's out of quarantine and ready to go. We don't even know. We probably should have that information first, shouldn't we?
If he is, I think he is now, because they played their, what is it? Yeah, because tomorrow's Friday. They played their first game Sunday, so he's out of quarantine for sure.
Okay, cool. So he's in. He's in. Hazel's out. Make sure you remember that.
Okay, that's
and your My 11 Circle team, huh?
That's your call. My call is that Sam Curran comes in for Dwayne Bravo. That's my call.
No way. No, not with this current form. No.
Should we have a lemonade on that?
Yeah.
Have a bet. I'll bet you a leather jacket that that doesn't happen.
The story of the leather jacket. There is a story. By the way, Joy, I have to tell you, there's a story of a leather jacket. There is a leather jacket of Simon Doull's, which is lying in my house, which he was supposed to pick up 3 days before this pandemic started. We were supposed to meet when he was coming to India. He was here for the road safety series, right? This is where you were here, and they had to pretty much just leave overnight.
So 18 months ago.
18 months ago. And he said, we'll be back in a couple of weeks. I'll pick it up then.
Yeah, I'll pick it up then.
Famous last words, man. Little did we know. 18 months later. And I live in tropical Mumbai. There's no use of a leather jacket for me, even if I put on 3 air conditioners. Right? I'll get it back to you. I'll get it back to you somehow. We'll figure it out. But of course, let's have a look at the Chennai team once again. If you just pick it up from top to bottom, you obviously have Rituraj Gaikwad, who's done very well. You have Faf du Plessis over there. You have the middle. They need, here's the concern now. They need, I know it gets covered because Moin is scoring runs. They need Raina, they need Raidu. They need these two because right now, Joy, they haven't needed them because, well, the top guys have been doing the damage. And Jadeja comes in and Dhoni comes in and they've got that big batting. But at some point in time, they'll need both Raina and Raidu to kind of give them something.
Yeah, I agree. I think Raidu is giving them something, or has given them something in the first part of the tournament. I think their bigger worry will be Raina, who hasn't given them anything so far. And more than giving them anything, he looked completely out of sorts in the last match. He looked as if he didn't like fast bowling. He didn't like bowling up here. He just didn't look the part. And I think that's one of the things, but he's a thoroughbred. Again, when we talk about the IPL, we talk about the first 6-7 years, the IPL, Raina is probably the most consistent batsman. And after that, it's been David Warner. But Raina is still a giant. So, they say about, old war horses that every once in a while they smell the gunpowder and they get going. So they'll be hoping that Raina gives them something. Because with this team, with 4 all-rounders, if you look at it, if they play Curran, Bravo, Jadeja, Chahar, okay, they can afford to carry Raina for another couple of matches. If it doesn't work, remember, they're very reluctant.
Yeah, remember too, Chennai, I mean, they're like the girl that falls in love with you at primary school and never ever stops. They are the most loyal, faithful. They just, they persevere with Shane Watson for a whole season just so they can get 100 in the final. I mean, this is what they do. I mean, what I saw from Suresh Raina the other night was just awful. It didn't look like he was in the right headspace. He didn't look like he was there. He didn't look like he was ready to play. He was scared. It wasn't the look you wanted to see from what has been a great IPL player. One of the best ever IPL batsmen, as Joy just said. That's not what you want to see at the back end of a career from anyone's point of view. So they will persevere with him. They'll give him plenty of rope because they'll want to see something from him. But how long do they persevere? Do they just say we can carry you the whole tournament because we only need 1, maybe 2 performances from you, and we think when you get an opportunity on a slowish surface against spinners or against a team that doesn't have anyone that can bowl 140, because he's still good enough to hurt 125, 130 bowling. I just think the 140 might worry him a little bit too much now.
Well, the point that you made about Sam Curran, it just took me back to last year with Ajay Jadeja on the Hindi show, and he would keep asking. He says, "Dhoni loves Sam Curran so much, I think he's adopted him." I said, "Well, he could be, right? There could be father-son with that age difference. It totally could be. It's workable." Yeah, Joy.
But I want to tell you a story. It's very interesting you raised this because Sam Curran is the son, of course, Kevin Curran, great Zimbabwean, correct. You all know about that. What perhaps a lot of people don't know is that when Kevin Curran, all their holdings in Zimbabwe disappeared overnight because, Mugabe and all the policies, and they were taking all the farms. And who picked them up and who literally looked after them and was a financial rock for the family? Jeff Marsh. And that's why
Really?
Mitch Marsh, so Mitch Marsh, Sean Marsh, Sam Curran, Tom Curran, they all know each other. They all sort of grew up together. But Jeff Marsh was a rock of support to the Curran family at that point in time.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Love when Joy comes in with these joyous stories. We love it. Don't love it when Joy comes up with questions that we don't understand. But we do love the answers of that, because then we can show off to our friends down the street. The question he asked today was, in cricket, what started off as an armed combatant during the Roman Empire became a chemical invented by Alfred Nobel, is now a military unit of 10 to 100 people. Joy, decode the question for us, please.
Okay, the answer is the Dhaka T20 franchise. So it started off as the Dhaka Gladiators, okay? And from the Dhaka Gladiators, it became the Dhaka Dynamites, which is invented by Alfred Nobel. And now it's called the Dhaka Platoon, which is, a unit of 10 to 100 people. And people got it. We got the correct answer as well.
No,
but it was a fun one. I said,
Brilliant.
It's great. It's amazing. Imran Malik. Hassan, tell us if you're from Dhaka, because that's a lot of trivia to know about the Dhaka T20 team. You're probably from there, or you're a fan. So well done, Hassan, Imran, Malik. He's bound to get it right. All three names are cricketer names. There's a Hassan Raza, an Imran Khan, a Salim Malik. Well, maybe you're from Pakistan. Well, you got it right. So congratulations to you. You have won this Joy Factor. It was very clever. I have to give that to you. That was pretty clever. Are you going to do some more of these? Are you going to do some more of these cryptic, clever ones?
Yeah. Every once in a while, you want to throw them, because otherwise they just run to their stats machines and start looking up things. So every once in a while,
you've got to throw a curveball, don't you?
Yeah, brought a curveball.
Speaking of curveballs, did you see Conor McGregor's pitch?
No, I haven't.
No. Oh my goodness me! Please, if you like sport and you like, how they get a celebrity to throw the first pitch. Yeah. Just Google it, please.
Okay.
Conor McGregor, one of the great, one of the great MMA fighters.
Yeah, absolutely. Which just leads just one thing, Joy. I want to ask you. You said they run to their stats machines. Are you talking about laptops and Google? Like what is?
Yeah.
It's a stats machine.
No.
What are you going?
No. They're programmed.
We just run to Deepu.
Deepu's our stats machine here on Cricbuzz. Stats machine, I'll have you know. Well, we've got to turn this bioscope off now, right? I think we're all out of crank, right? We don't have any more crank left to run this show anymore.
Keep pedaling.
Oh, geez. That's really funny. All right. Just want to tell you quickly about Cricbuzz Plus. Please subscribe and sign up for it. If you have, there's exclusive ad-free content, amazing content on it on Cricbuzz Plus. There's video as well as written words. So do sign up for that. Do subscribe for that. Subscribe to that. That's what we have time for right now. It's been fun, gentlemen. Talking about, Dhoni babysitting Sam Curran. It was fun babysitting the two of you. Well done. You were very well behaved, I must say. Simon, we're not going to see too much of you now. You're obviously at the games now. So when do we see you here next on Cricbuzz Live?
Goodness me. I might have a gap on the 8th, I think, or something like that. Maybe the 30th.
Attitude.
30th, I think I have a day off. If you want to cut to me, I can just leave this sort of here.
Yeah, we just could you just
every now and then just cut to the pillow.
Yeah, could you just draw like a smiley face on it? And we're going to say, Simon joining us from his hotel room in Dubai.
I'll just leave it here.
That's right. We'll just do that. Simon with his pillow talk. Thank you so much. Well, that was Simon Doull. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Joy Bhattacharya. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Gaurav Kapur. You were watching Cricbuzz Live in association with our fantasy partner, My 11 Circle. We'll see you tomorrow, 6:50 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Now, I know that a lot of you join us from all around the world. So just remember, 10 minutes before the toss is when we come here and we start talking about the game. Start having lots of fun. Right now, it's time for us to sleep. So we're going to do that. And you can do whatever you want. I'm not your father. So do what you want to do. Good night.